Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm Lo, and this is Sagittarius Therapy. I'm not a licensed therapist. I am a practicing astrologer and an intuitive tarot reader, and this is the space that I created for the Sagittarius Collective. So, welcome. Today, we are talking about Saturn in Aries and how it's going to affect you if you are a Sagittarius sun, moon, or rising. And I will also pull some cards around this just for the small collective of people who will come across this video. And specifically some details that Spirit might have for you regarding your experience of this transit. So if you follow astrology, you know everybody has been talking about Saturn in Aries. Saturn will officially enter Aries on February 13th. So that is just a couple days from the time that I'm recording this, but this transit will last until April 12th, 2028. So we're dealing with this energy for over 2 years. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I was going to say it's going to be a doozy, but I'm going to start off by just talking a little bit about that energy. Now, you might be familiar with astrological terminology or not, but in Aries, Saturn is in its fall. So that means that Aries is the least favorite sign. Saturn cannot really stand being in Aries because the energy of Aries is essentially the antithesis to Saturn. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is all about the speed. Mars wants things now. Mars is not trying to wait. And Saturn is about slow, steady growth, building things over time, and building with quality and a value that typically can't be accomplished quickly. So again, Mars is quick, fast moving. It's like that gut punch. And because Aries is cardinal fire, that energy can burn out quickly. So it might be hard to focus the attention long enough in one area, especially if there's not some immediate gratification. And so Saturn's like that's just not the best environment for Saturn, because Saturn likes to be very slow and diligent and rewards the endurance rather than the speed. And so Aries energy is great for competitive sports and showing kind of brute strength and being very brave and leaping before you look type of energy. Saturn, rules Capricorn and is the traditional ruler of Aquarius as well. But especially with Capricorn, that's cardinal earth. And so that earth is what it gives Capricorn the steadfastness, the stick-to-itness that Aries doesn't quite have on its own. So the interesting thing about this, now, if you have Saturn in Sagittarius, I feel like there's a special place for you in all of this, but I might drop some notes about that in the description box, because I do want to focus on Sag, Sun, Moon, and Rising. But a motto or a mantra that I use as somebody with my natal Saturn in Sagittarius is discipline is freedom. And that helps me because Sagittarius as well can be so focused on expansion and doesn't want to be restricted, right? So it can be hard for Saturn. Saturn doesn't really like being in Sagittarius either, because that's Jupiter's terrain and they don't function the same. And so Saturn is not about doing things on a whim or getting lucky. It's like you have to put in the work and you have to stick with something long enough to know if it's for you, and you have to deal with a little bit of restriction. And that's the hard part with Sagittarius. But in any case, Saturn is going to be in Aries. Aries is a fellow fire sign. So Saturn will be forming a harmonious aspect with the Sagittarius placements. It's like fire signs get together and they're like, okay, we're going to make some things happen. So Saturn will be helping you in whatever area of your life Sagittarius is in your chart, and then whatever placements you have. For example, if your sun is in Sagittarius, your Leo house is also going to be very relevant because the sun rules Leo. If you have your moon in Sag, your Cancer house is going to be really relevant, because obviously the moon rules Cancer. So I'll talk about that. But your mantra, I feel like, whether or not you have Saturn in Sag too, but discipline is freedom, okay? Because Saturn's going to help you refine whatever energy, whatever you're putting your energy towards with the Sagittarius house, and give you, it's going to limit the opportunities, but it's not, you don't think about it in terms of restriction, but it's more of like you can see more clearly what it is that you want to last in your life, what you want to build in your life. And you will not be pursuing opportunities that aren't going to help you get there. And the work that you put into whatever you're doing, if you're consistent, and especially whatever you've been doing in the past, it's going to be rewarded once Saturn gets in Aries and is now offering that support to Sagittarius. So with Saturn in Aries in general, we will see tests in patience. Saturn will test initiative. This is the collective going through all of this together. We're going to see a lot about having to enforce boundaries and how those boundaries are going to be enforced. We might see some limits to our independence from authority. Saturn is systems and structures of antiquity, and there's fear that Saturn can bring up with people who might not want to see the Aries thing happen, which Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So it is about innovation and progression, forward movement. And some people might not be brave enough to step into this new world or whatever, and they would like to block forward movement and progression. So that energy can manifest. Saturn is limitations as well. So it all depends on how we tap into Saturn's energy. We can use it for discipline to make things happen, or we can use it to block progress by giving in to fears. And so I feel like Saturn in Aries is a very big, like, what are you going to do about it energy? Also, karma. Saturn is karma. So you're going to get what you're going to get, and you're going to get it quickly once Saturn enters Aries. So if you have some you need to tend to, you better be getting it wrapped up now, especially as it pertains to that to that Pisces house. And Saturn is still there right now at that final degree. So it's like, what are you going to do right now? Do or die. It's that critical degree of Pisces. So wrap up your Pisces house activities now, so you don't have to worry about them getting worse, that you won't carry fear. But then as a collective, it's like, what are we going to do? Because we see, again, the dissolution of protections. Neptune's also in Aries, and we see happening in politics restrictions in our ability to challenge authority. This is what they're trying to do, right? Quiet us. We're going to see more wars, some oppressive energies, some repressive efforts. We might see more butting of the heads with authority figures and elders. One thing we want to be mindful of is becoming too numb to question authority, being frozen with fear, being too scared to take initiative, obeying out of fear. If you read 1984, you know all of this. If you haven't, I would really advise that you read that book by George Orwell. And there are other, I would say Octavia Butler to Parable of the Sower is another book that I was talking about as this whole shit was coming about. Anyways, and Handmaid's Tale. So But if you don't want to be scaring yourself, like, don't do it. But yeah, Aries is hot and fiery, and Saturn is excessively cold. Saturn is going to chill Aries out a bit. Sometimes Aries needs a chill pill. Okay, so that might work out for you in your world. But we're going to have to slow down, avoid impulsive decisions, and that could do us some good. Tempering aggression. These are lessons that you're going to have to learn, or people around you are going to be learning, and you're going to be observing this depending on how this hits you. It does give us an opportunity to bring sustainability to our ideas before we take action, before we give them form. Again, there might be some return to old regimes and the man, so to speak, gripping on to leadership, holding on for dear life to any rigid structures of the past. The old is new. That is, I swear, I think one of my astrology teachers said that or something. But yeah, with Saturn and Aries, Saturn is old structures, right? And it is about longevity and tradition. So we're putting that into Aries, which is just brand spanking new. And so we might see what we're already seeing, this desire to return to a golden era. But we all know it was only golden for a small amount of people. So the majority does not want that, even if some of them don't know that yet. In any case, let's get into Sagittarius rising. If you're a Sag rising, and then also this will be relevant to you if you have like your sun or your moon in Sagittarius because of derived houses. It's going to be the 5th house from your Sag sun and moon, or this is your whole sign 5th house if you're a Sag rising. This is the creativity zone. The 5th house is children, love affairs, fun, exhibitionism. Again, Saturn is about permanence, so you could settle down with a lover. It could get serious, you know. You may give birth to children, Sag, over the next 2.5 years. That is the permanent result of a typically pleasurable time. However, if you've been trying to avoid children, then Saturn can also work in your favor here by blocking pregnancies. I know that sounds kind of strange, but also depends on your natal chart. But because it's a trine, whatever Saturn is doing is typically working out in your favor. Whatever you're putting your efforts towards, it's what you will have the support in doing. So if you already have children, they could hit some milestones and start to show like more maturity and stability and more self-sufficiency. A creative, imaginative process could take some sort of a structured form. So you could be making, for example, a lot of content, completing a book, finishing a sculpture or a film or something that you've wanted to complete for a long time, and you might be getting recognition for those efforts. Now, under Saturn's influence, we strive for longevity. So any weakness will be exposed, and then you can address it. Okay, so don't fear that. Your creative resolve or your patience will be tested, and anything that you put out there will go through the stress test multiple times. Saturn tests anything we do for durability. So if you've been intentional and you've worked hard, you'll be rewarded. It's as simple as that. Now, you could start a new hobby that stays with you forever at this time, especially if it's something competitive, like adventure sports. Those are very like Aries in nature. Because Neptune is also here in your 5th house, and Neptune is the sea. Maybe something to do with swimming. Maybe you've always wanted to, I don't know why free dive is coming through to me, but yeah, that sounds like some that Aries would like do. So, or those Spartan challenges, or like rock climbing, or anything that requires a lot of energy. And now Saturn's bringing that endurance into it, so you could that could be helpful for you. Saturn in this case is helping you by giving you the ability to do something you don't feel like doing. that really contributes to your growth. So it's like, I liked this, but in order for me to really make it a permanent thing, I'm going to have to get more serious about it. I'm going to have to put in the hours and the commitment that I didn't really want to do in the past. So it's like, well, do you want it or not? Saturn's actually going to help you. If you are really wanting something, you just find maybe that you are suddenly putting more effort into it. These are just the things that you can expect. Now, it could also give you a lot of challenges because you could see maybe where you skipped some steps in the past that would come up. You know, if you took a lot of shortcuts in the past and just happened to get where you are anyways, but there's like some areas where you're lacking, Saturn's going to point out those weaknesses, like I said, so that at this point you can go back, get that knowledge, train on whatever you need to train on, refine the skills. So Saturn's definitely going to bring you challenges, but you should really be up for it. Now, fifth house is also speculative games. And when Saturn's in town, anything that's like impulsive or get rich quick type energy will likely backfire hard. But since Neptune is here too, maybe you'll have a really good poker face and you'll be able to get rich and stay rich if you know and you honor your limits. Just make sure you know what you're doing. I don't know. Take more deliberate and strategic actions. You could feel like you're more serious, less focused on fun, but all work, no play is not gonna work for the Sagittarius people, right? So you have to build time in your schedule for pleasure. And you can't forget to stop and smell the roses and enjoy whatever successes come your way. Don't be that person that they joke about, like, oh, you must be fun at parties. That's never Sag. You are the party Sag, okay? Now, some of you might take a hiatus from dating, or you might get more serious about a relationship that you're in. You might hire a matchmaking service or just be a lot pickier because you're looking for long-term partners who can do very real things. It's like you're not going to make excuses for people who can't cook meals for themselves in their 30s and 40s. It's like, you know, if that's your thing, whatever your thing is, you're like, I'm not doing it anymore. So that could result, if you are single, in you dating less because you are really looking for something specific and you're kind of refining that experience for yourself. I keep saying refining and then I'm like, how am I using this word? But you know, you're looking for quality, not quantity. So you're going to limit your options because when you have higher standards, obviously there's going to be fewer people that meet them. So you could be dating less. Now, if you're already in a relationship and it's going well, then it could be like, okay, let's make this more official. We've been dating, we've been hanging out, but I feel like this is more than just a fling, a love affair. This is like a, you could be my person type thing. And then you act accordingly. Now, if you have a Sagittarius sun, Saturn will be trining that natal sun. So you could feel like there's some obstacles that are removed from your past, from your path. Things that you have been challenged with in the past, you might find like they get easier, especially whatever was happening in that Pisces house. You should feel this ease up pretty quickly once Saturn enters into Aries. If you don't use whole sign, you look at the degree on the cusp of that house where you'll see exactly when it's entering. But typically, I just look at it, hey, when it enters the sign, you should start to feel that impacting those topics in that house. So, and depending on where your sun is in Sagittarius, you're going to feel this as Saturn gets closer. So I would say when Saturn is about 5 degrees away from the exact trine with your sun, that's when you should start to feel this energy that I'm going to be talking about. But anyways, it can knock down barriers. If you've had like goals for yourself, and they can be personal goals, but often with the sun, these are professional goals as well, and kind of like feeling like you're fulfilling your purpose, then you should start to see some opportunities come through there. And this could be things that you've been waiting for a very long time that start to manifest in your life, especially if you have been working diligently and just feeling like, I can't ever really break through this glass ceiling or whatever. This is the type of transit that comes through and helps you to push through that. If you're like, I could never get over this amount in my salary. Why? For years I've been stuck here. This is that transit that comes through and gets you that 6-figure income, or whatever it is. And it's also like you might start to believe in yourself more. You have less fear, you have less restrictions, your limiting beliefs are suddenly lifted, and you might actually get a lot of recognition for the work that you have done, for your expertise, for the contributions that you made, for your honesty and integrity. Whatever it is, you could see yourself moving up social classes or whatever. Taking on more responsibilities as well, though. It will likely come with more responsibilities. So, yeah, it's like you might be relied on more or called upon more to be a leader in your life and in other people's lives. You might just be busier. You might be talking to people that have a lot more influence or power, and talking more seriously and representing yourself or showing up more serious and responsible in your world, whatever that looks like for you. Showing up with authority. Like you could be going through a very intense period of training to become a leader. So you might not get the leadership role, but you will get more responsibilities. And then by the end, like once Saturn is done doing his work, and this could be from like 1 to 3 months up to 2.5 years, because Saturn retrogrades every year. So it could be going back over these degrees, depending on where your Sag placements are, could go back over them a few times. So there's going to be opportunities coming up, and with the trine, it's kind of up to you to take action. So you will be offered things, you'll see opportunities, and you could say yes to them or not. You can pursue them or not, but you have that help. And so this is a great time to do that. If you have, like I said, done some things in the past that were less than honest, if you've done anything that lacked integrity, it might come back up. You might have to face those consequences, and it could just be a quiet thing that but it could also cause some kind of embarrassment at some point, especially if you don't take accountability for it. So just don't try to avoid taking accountability or responsibility for your actions. That's a very big thing. Remain humble and own your shit. And it doesn't even matter. Whatever comes up, it's going to blow over quickly. And if there's anything that's like super problematic in your life that you have been holding on to, Saturn's going to separate you from it. And it's always just going to be for the best. It's for your own good. And it also could be like you might have tried, you could have tried a million times to tell someone no, to assert boundaries with someone. And so this could be supporting you in ending something. You don't know what something might happen to that person. They finally get their comeuppance, and then you don't have to worry about them anymore because poof, they're gone. So Saturn's helping you here in that regard as well. With Saturn trining your natal moon. So if you have a Sagittarius moon, Saturn's trining your natal moon. So if you're putting a lot of energy into something in your emotional world, especially if you are interested, if you really desire children, this could be you manifesting this family that you have always dreamed of. whether that includes children or not. And for you, that might bring you more respect, especially depending on what kind of society you come from. You might feel more self-satisfaction and self-respect because maybe you are heading a family, especially as the matriarch. And if that's something that you've always dreamed of or wanted, then here you go. It's very possible that Saturn can get that for you. You might find your perfect home. You'll be able to sign on the dotted line and find your forever home. That's what they call it, right? Have more stability, join forces with someone or a group of people, a community that feels secure, that feels stable, that feels reliable. You might find that you are just more mature emotionally as well. Like you feel more stable, you feel kind of more like a King of Cups type of energy. You're able to control your emotions, you're able to act rationally. You come off as someone who has very sound judgment. People might be coming to you for advice more, and people might be relying on you to maintain the emotional stability in a home, a family, a community, a company, whatever. You might find that your relationships with women become more serious and grounded. And you might be becoming like the elder, for example. If, for example, you're like a younger sibling too, you might start to mature, and the rest of your family is really seeing you come into yourself and respecting you more and respecting your authority. You might get your home more organized. You might find that you're cleaning up more, straightening up more. You have less junk. You are accumulating less things. Maybe you're shopping more for quality over quantity. You might find that your taste is refined in your home, and how you decorate it. Things that you're bringing in are just, they seem more mature. It's not like objectively mature, but just like more authentic, definitely more authentic. And you're spending money more wisely, I'll say. And again, quality over quantity. You might be spending more money, but you're buying less things, if you know what I mean. And also, you could be, refining your palate when it comes to food. The moon is food and comfort foods, and just like what you eat routinely. So if you are somebody that has been trying to maybe lose weight, tone your body, this is a great time for that. You will have a lot of support in that. Saturn is about, again, trimming things down, refining things. I keep saying refining, toning things up, tightening things, limiting things. So if there's been something that you wanted to cut out of your diet, whether that's sugar, alcohol, carb, whatever it is, and you go about it responsibly, you'll be able to stick to these things more. If it's something like you want to exercise more, especially with Saturn and Aries, you are able to be more disciplined with how you use your energy. And you might get more systematic or build more structure into your health routines, and that ultimately will help you reach your goals. But again, it's not about fad dieting and things like that. It really is about that slow, steady, healthy way of reaching your goal. Your relationship with your mother or maternal figure, other women in your life, can become more serious. You might be taking on more responsibilities in terms of caring for mother figures. And I feel like your intuition also will get stronger, especially again with Neptune there trining that moon at some point. It's like you feel like you can trust yourself more because you've been through whatever you've been through. It's been rough for all of us, but you're able to implement those lessons, to integrate them into your life and not make mistakes that maybe a younger version of you would have made, or a previous version of you maybe would have gotten tangled up in certain things. But now you might notice that you're not even at all impressionable in ways that you were in the past. You might notice that offers that people are making you that maybe you would have jumped on, leapt on in the past against your better judgment, that you're not even at all interested. And so, yeah, that's a very great thing you can look forward to with this transit. And just kind of note down, obviously this isn't going to be on the top of your mind, but there will be times probably when you come back to astrology and you think, oh, okay, yeah, this actually makes sense considering this Saturn and Aries transit. To feel it'll get louder as the orb tightens, and then we'll reach the peak once it's exact. And so this could be a transit, or an energy that's with you from 1 to 3 months that you feel is loud, or 2.5 years, depending on, again, where that is in your chart and where Saturn retrogrades. Because when Saturn retrogrades, we'll go over the same degrees a couple of times, or a few times. So that, what you can expect, just some things, some manifestations, that's an idea. So I hope that that's helpful. And I'm going to slide into some tarot cards just to see, whoever's watching, what you might expect. All right, so I'm going to start off with the major arcana to just see the overall energy, the overall vibe, what might be feeling the loudest in terms of this energy in your life during this transit. Ooh. So we have Wheel of Fortune, the Sun, and then the High Priestess is on the bottom, which is the Moon in the tarot. So Jupiter is here. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of Sagittarius moons that will get this message, but also Sun, whatever. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. Don't you forget, in the summertime, and I'll make a video about this later, Jupiter will enter Leo. So that's another very highly auspicious, harmonious energy that's coming to boost your Sag placements, because Leo's also our fellow fire sign. So all of this stuff that Saturn's doing, you'll get a little bit of time to refine a bit. And then it's like Jupiter comes, and then you might be put on the spot. You're on the stage. You might get that leadership role then. Or you might have somebody who is really going to boost you up and put you on, come in at that time. Like that might be where you get that mentor or that teacher that really takes things to the next level for you, or you become that. So anyways, it's fortunate. It's a fortunate time. It's going to be an improvement in your life, in your happiness, in your vitality as well. One thing I didn't mention with the sun is, again, our vitality, our health. And so with Saturn there, you might really start to get into routines and habits that improve your longevity, especially. So it is fruits, vegetables, the basics. That's the thing too with Saturn. It's not about no crazy crash dieting. It's not about going to any type of extreme. It's about the simple shit that we live, that type of stuff. You don't have to do a whole bunch of hullabaloo. And so you might be getting back to a simpler way of eating, making sure this stuff is natural, and that you exercise, you eat healthy food, and you exercise, and you don't have to do a whole bunch of crazy things. So you might be, again, scaling things back and really feeling good about yourself, because you are doing things that are more authentic to you too. Like, again, with those hobbies, you're finding enjoyment in things maybe that you used to find enjoyment in or that just feel natural to you. Instead of trying to make something fit that's just not you, you are embracing whoever you are at this moment. And you are specifically creating a world and an environment that represents or reflects who you are. And that is boosting your mood. If you've been down and out and depressed, then no more, no more. With the High Priestess here, it is about following your intuition and following your nature, your essence. It feels like you're coming into yourself, and then, you know, you want to go out again and be seen because you're like, yeah, I'm... Okay, let me shut up. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Pentacles here. Spirit is like, child, please. And then the Fool on the bottom. Stepping into new experiences. I feel like it's the you that you have always been. Obviously the mature version, because you've seen some things now, but you are also reinvented. So you might be reclaiming some part of yourself, but obviously you're showing up refreshed while still being you, you know, it's still holding on to your authenticity. But yeah, you're stepping out. Some of you with this Ace of Pentacles, there are opportunities abound for you to make money, create things, and you're excited to pursue these things. The Magician is here. You're manifesting your reality. We have the Ace of Wands too. Yeah. And the Ten of Swords on the bottom. You have some energy again. It's like you were getting back up after hitting rock bottom, and you got your spark back. You got your mojo back. You've got some coins in your pocket. The Tower, yeah, damn. You were down, you built yourself back up. I see 10 of Cups here and 8 of Wands too. So, family. Okay, you could really be building a family, a new family. And that doesn't have to mean relatives. It's just like a new community, friends. This could be tied to something that you are doing, like a hobby. You know, you could join a theater group or something like that. Make a lot of lasting connections through that. Something that you might join a gym or something like that. Something for self-improvement and build a community there, CrossFit or whatever. This could be you you going to therapy, group therapy sessions, and sharing your story and finding people that have been through similar things who you can learn and grow with. But there's just a lot of new energy here with the Ace of Pentacles, the Fool, the Ace of Wands. It's like all of this new energy rushes in and it pulls you out of this suffering. 8 of Wands, there's like momentum again. Knight of Swords. I feel like this in the Chariot. Damn. So I feel like your plans start to manifest very quickly. And it's like you can't even keep up. Because it feels like it's been very slow. Nothing's happening. Pulse check. Yeah, I'm still alive, but what the hell? Slow. And then all of a sudden, it's like someone is banging. What are those things? Cymbals. I'm thinking about that scene from Bad Girls Club when the girl was like banging on the pane. I mean, if you know, you know. So it's almost as though, or those cartoons where the alarm clock is essentially 2 hands with cymbals, just like smashing the character's head. It feels like that. Like all of a sudden, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. All of a sudden, it's like bam, and then you have everything you ever wanted. And I hate to sound magical like that, but hey, that's how life happens. You turn around and you're like, oh my gosh. A few months ago, I was just down and out. All right, let's see though. I'm getting tea leaves. Mice, discord among friends or family, spear, heartache over what you no longer have. Okay, so this Ten of Swords could come as a betrayal. It could be the final, it's like the finale, I feel, of Saturn and Pisces. So this might be something that you're going through at this point. Not unsuccessful plans. This is all of this. This is all of this Ten of Swords energy here. You've had drama with friends, family. You've had plans that haven't worked out. You've lost some people or opportunities that you've been mourning. And then we have money will be coming to you. Yeah, with that Ace of Pentacles, we see that. Fire, strong emotion, passionate love or hate. And that's the Ace of Wands. Teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. Okay. So yeah, you could make a really special friend during this time. Or a few. Axe, forces working against you. With that Fool, I don't know, it's like, it does feel like, okay, April is important here too. April is when Uranus goes into Gemini, and Uranus is going to be opposing Sagittarius, and that can bring some shakeups. But that can also bring a very eccentric or quirky energy into your life. So that could be somebody that comes your way and you have some similarities, but then you're also very different, or it's someone that you just didn't expect that you would ever be friends with, or this could be a partner, somebody that you date and it comes out of nowhere, or it's a relationship that starts out one way but then it's completely unexpected, like how it unfolds. So just be mindful of that. That might be something that's coming up, that's forming in April. Mercury is going to be retrograde before that, but the post-retrograde shadow is going to end in April. So door opportunities are waiting for you. And vase, secret, why can't I say secret? Secret admirer. Secret admirer. Huh. Okay. Let me look real quickly at forces working against you. The Chariot and the Two of Wands. Okay. And then the Nine of Swords. So I feel like this is telling you not to hold back. Like I said, you're going to have to put forth effort with trines and then things work out. But if you just sit and don't do anything, the ship's going to sail. So if you're still worried or you're fearful about something, then you're going to have to overcome that. Anxiety, doubt, and worry, it could come in and influence your plans negatively. I mean, it could stop you from pursuing what you want, what you really in your heart want. And so these are just forces in your mind. And I also feel like you might be somebody that gets caught up on like the competition, and before you do something, you think about the other people who are also going to be doing it. Like, for example, if it's a job, you're thinking, oh my gosh, but there's so many highly qualified people with more experience than I have. And so many people are unemployed right now. There's going to be so much competition. They're never going to find my application. So you just don't apply to the things that really speak to you. Or, you know, like if you're an athlete, but you never really wanted to get out of recreational, for example, if you take ballroom dance or something, you might have skipped out on going to any competitions because you're like, man, these people are going to be in such better shape. Oh, they know how to move better than I do. Whatever. You don't want to put yourself out there. But I was watching this short the other day, and the lady was talking about pushing your risk tolerance so that you get more, like your nervous system gets acclimated to taking risks, and just do that, you know, little by little, bit by bit. And then you start to, it becomes natural to you and you don't shy away from competition. And so I feel like that's something that is for someone out here. Let me look at this secret admirer, even though it should probably just be a secret. The Lover's reverse and the Star. Okay, well, this is somebody that's holding out hope. It's something that didn't work out in the past with the Lover's reverse. I feel like it could have been timing. For whatever reason, the stars didn't align for you in the past with this person, but they still have hope, whether they're saying it or not. Yeah, I feel like they're very, 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 very tempted by you. I see this Queen of Wands and Strength, but they don't want to say anything. They're keeping quiet. That's so interesting. So, like, what are they going to do? There's always a million cards flipping around. Four of Pentacles and the Six of Wands. Hierophant. Page of Wands and the Emperor. All right, so this person's not going to be holding back anymore. They're going to come and they're going to shower you with these words of praise, affection. They're going to tell you how they feel. They're going to put their pride to the side, and they're going to tell you that they like you. They're going to take action. They see a future with this Hierophant. I mean, like, that's about a commitment. So they want to try again. And how does Sag feel about this? Seven of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Page of Pentacles on the bottom. So you might give it a try. I also feel like you are probably more... I think you're going to wait. Seven of Pentacles is kind of just like, you're taking an assessment. Taking an assessment. King of Swords is like, you want to be honest. So I don't think you have much interest in it. I see Eight of Cups, so you're probably not going to take advantage of that particular secret admirer because you're taking too long to respond to it. Now, for a lot of people, I feel like the secret admirer is just you learning to love yourself again, like falling back in love with yourself. You might be doing mirror work or something like that. And it's just you rebuilding your confidence and remembering why you are that person, like why you... reminding yourself of your accomplishments, everything that you have done up until now, everything that you're very proud of, and applying that as you move forward and you pursue what you really, really, truly desire with more confidence. And so that's that. So let me get some oracle cards. And I'll head out of here. Okay, so we have denial, no, and luck. This is like Saturn and Jupiter right next to each other, because Saturn says no, and Jupiter is like luck. or is thought of associated with black anyways. So perhaps you are insisting that reality be something other than what it is. What are you refusing to see? It's better to live in truth than a lie. If you've been putting up a false front to make money, it's time to remove that mask. That is something that Saturn is going to make you do. If you've been acting in any way that's inauthentic to you, you're not going to be able to do that anymore, because you're not going to have any luck in that arena. Anything you do now will be very prosperous for you. If you believe that you're lucky, you'll create an abundance mindset. Your perspective is stifling your growth and stomping on your luck. So some of you really have a lot to overcome in terms of your mind and your self-belief. On the bottom, we have easy does it. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes. This is not a good time to rush. Pay attention to every detail. Careful not to get involved with any get-rich-quick schemes. Isn't that what I said? And then leadership is underneath that. So again, I feel like a lot of you, it's about taking ownership and leadership in your own life, your own affairs, family, relationships, but also career-wise, you could be taking on more responsibilities. And you're going to have to get over imposter syndrome. And if you have been, I'm going to say lying about any credentials, but it's just that thing of like when you look for a job and you don't really want it, but you're like, I need money, so let me act like I really love doing this, that, and the other. Knowing good and well, you're going to be miserable. Eventually you're going to be paying for that. You're going to feel the pain. So I'm closing this with the Herbal Astrology Pocket Oracle cards, and we have number 36, Coca, Foresight, and this is Uranus and Venus. And then on the bottom we had 13, Motherwort, Strength, which is Venus as well. Ooh, I opened right to this. So for Coca, the keywords are supernatural powers, ability to see universal truth, genius, spiritual guidance, brilliance, integrity, impeccability. Oh, I love this. 36 reduces to 9, in case you're not good at math. Guidance. The mighty jaguar is the spirit animal to many great medicine peoples in the rainforest. The jaguar has been regarded as one of the fierce protectors of the sacred and seen as a bridge to the upper worlds, or a messenger from the realms of spirit. Coca's lightning-like energy has appeared today, signaling the piercing clarity, foresight, and power you have available to you right now. Jaguar spirit rewards you as you stay true to your integrity in moments where you could easily give it away. Don't reject innate gifts you were born with. Cultivate them and don't shy away from their magnificent power. The power of Jaguar is that of the greatest shaman, able to assist in soul work and journeying to retrieve aspects of your power that have been forgotten or remained latent. Don't reject innate gifts you were born with. Okay, there you go, that 5th house. Someone's going to call upon you, maybe many opportunities. This is the one thing that some of you are going to struggle with, because the opportunities that come your way with this denial card might be asking you to show up in a way that is more authentic and really is based on your innate talents and your gifts and your skills, not whatever you thought you needed to parade around as. And so you might be avoiding doing this because you're like, I have not done that in years. I don't really want to get up in front of people and do that, even though there's this part of you that's really yearning for nothing but that. So these opportunities are coming. They just might look a little bit different than you hope, because if you're trying to do the easy thing, even though it's like doesn't have any meaning for you, then Saturn's not going to allow you to do that. But if you show up in your true, authentic aura, space, rooms, communities, then you're going to be rewarded for that. All right. Motherwort, 13 is 4. Strength. Some of you, the sacral chakra is really important here, and you might want to be working with citrine. Strength, essence of creation, connecting to the creatrix within, fertility, birth, creativity, and inner trust. Yeah, some of you are definitely experiencing parenthood. Like the radiance of a lion's heart, Motherwort's energy builds inner trust and confidence. The lion-hearted Motherwort is representative of the beauty we possess when we own the power of our gifts and creativity. The goddess sits centered as the lion leans on her in a state of peaceful delight, symbolizing the unwavering faith we must keep as we transcend old fears. Venus, her planetary ruler, is like a midwife to our happiness, channeling how we accept and transmit our heart's desires. Find new ways to facilitate creativity that honor and reveal your passions and strength. Devote yourself to the fertility of your gifts and courageously accept your divine destiny. Damn, that's so powerful. Motherwort is representative of the beauty we possess when we own the power of our gifts and creativity. Hell yes. That's perfect. Look, this is this 5th house, Sag. Like I said, whether you're a Sag rising or not, it's the 5th house from your Sag placement. So it's calling up your creative energies, giving birth to some creative project, a little bitty baby. Look for rainbows as a sign from spirit. Cats, I feel, also are very important. And yeah, if these are herbs that you can work with, coca and motherwort, then you can lean on those. All right, Sag, I feel like that's it. And I hope it's been helpful to you, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Take